On Global TV News Prime, President Bola Tinubu reaffirms his order to pull police officers off VIPs and return them to core policing. In business, Federal Inland Revenue Service partners with France on digital tax reform. On the foreign scene, Prime Minister Albanese says Australia taking back control. And in sport, Arsenal suffers another injury blow ahead of Club Brugge clash. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365, on Star Times channel 276. And now, the news and details. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his order to pull police officers off VIPs and return them to core policing. He stated this minutes before presiding over the Federal Executive Council at the State House, Abuja. President Tinubu directed the Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, to liaise with the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, and the National Security and Civil Defense Corps to immediately replace withdrawn escorts. In the meantime, Vice President Kashim Shettima has described the rising number of out-of-school children in the country as a national emergency requiring unified and sustained action from all tiers of government and critical stakeholders. Speaking in Abuja at the 2025 Nigeria Education Forum, organized by the Nigeria Governors Forum in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Education and other partners, Shettima said the crisis in the education sector could not be solved by government efforts alone. He added that millions of out-of-school children represent a national emergency requiring joint action by the federal government, the state, local government, and community stakeholders. Now, as the world marks the International Human Rights Day, legal experts and advocates are calling for stronger compliance with human rights laws, especially as insecurity across Nigeria continues to threaten the nation's most vulnerable groups. Our correspondent, Anita Patrick, has the details.
Justice Anukam of the African Court on Human and People's Rights says Nigeria has strong legal frameworks from the Constitution to the African Charter, but compliance remains the biggest challenge. She stresses that while violations are easy to identify, the real gap lies in providing repatriations, policy changes, and protection for vulnerable groups, including women, children, and internally displaced persons.
The IDP, which is a major concern this year, I sincerely hope that we will be able to make the necessary adjustments. And the theme for this year is human rights, everyday essential.
Special Envoy to West Africa, Ambassador Charles Omini of the International Human Rights Protection Service, says peace remains the first step towards justice as insecurity, kidnappings, and forced displacements continue to undermine basic rights across Nigeria.
Doing our best to engage our leaders at all levels to talk to their subjects and to make sure we have peace and stability in our country, Nigeria.
The economic team lead for West Africa of the International Human Rights Protection Agency, Dr. Aisha Lawal, says it is expanding humanitarian support, especially medical aid, to displaced communities across the country.
Off the grid, we're all involved in trying to make this program that we can actually reach the needy and the needful. It's not about a speech. It's not about, how many people we want to access. It's about how many people can actually come to the table and do the needful. The system, the country is a little bit divided. And we believe with this, our program, we'll be able to reach people from different destinations.
For religious leaders, balancing rights across Nigeria's diverse communities remains critical.
And if you look at most of human rights violation, there are three main roots: spirituality, ethnicity, the one you have to do with the issue of sufficiency. Sufficiency have to do with economy, money, things you need, but spirituality have to do with people's devotion to God.
As Nigeria joins the world to reflect on this year's theme, human rights, every day, essential advocates say the message is clear. Rights must be protected everywhere, for everyone, every day. Anie T. Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Let's now head to Kano State, where as reports of bandit attacks begin to emerge from some communities in the state, a civic group known as One Kano Agenda has called on security agencies to intensify efforts in safeguarding lives and properties, especially in areas bordering Katsina and other bandits-prone states. Addressing a news conference at the NUJ Secretariat in Kano, the group expressed concern over the recent spike in kidnappings across several communities, warning that the situation poses a serious threat to the state's peace and security. Global Television's correspondent Idris Jibrin has details.
In recent times, bandits operating from Katsina and Zamfara State have begun launching attacks on farming communities within Kano State. Reports of kidnappings and violence, particularly in Shanono local government area, have drawn the attention of a civil society group known as One Kano Agenda.
Despite Kano's proud in the history of peace and hospitality, the state is increasingly confronted with reported insecurity, handful cases of abductions, attacks on residents, and the suspicious activities in various communities, particularly in the area of Kano North. These challenges not only threaten Kano residents but the broader northern region, because Kano serves as a home and a hub for all northern Nigerians.
Residents warn that being the commercial hub of the northern Nigeria, Kano must not be allowed to become a breeding ground for criminal activity. They stress that insecurity poses a serious threat to the region's economic stability.
Once anything touches Kano, you are touching the whole of Nigeria as a whole, because it's the commercial center of the country. My own personal view is you have to dig down and go to the root of the cause. So that will give you an insight of how to prosper a solution to what is happening.
While commending the efforts of the state government and security agencies, One Kano Agenda urged residents to remain vigilant and report any suspicious individuals or activities to the appropriate authorities.
Recent credible reports highlight the presence of unknown individuals operating motorcycle and the commercial Okada across multiple localities. Many of those individuals do not speak Hausa fluently. This creates fears and suspicion among communities. But Alhamdulillah, we must thank God at this juncture for the decisive and the swift action of the government in collaboration with the security expert.
The group also pledged not to remain silent while criminal elements endanger the peace and development of Kano State and the country at large. From Kano, Idris Jibrin, Global Television News.
To Benue State, where the Nigerian Navy has reaffirmed its dedication to improving grassroots education through its Special Intervention Quick Impact projects, with the latest initiative commissioned in Olakin community in Okboga in Okpowo local government area of Benue State. Facilitated by Rear Admiral Robert Obeya, the project reflects the Chief of Naval Staff's commitment to strengthening civil-military relations and advancing the federal government's development objectives. Our correspondent in Benue State, Felicity Ndere, reports.
It was a moment of celebration in Otankpe Oklanyi community as the Nigerian Navy commissioned 3 newly constructed classrooms with a staff room, alongside the renovation of 5 additional classrooms and other educational facilities at Otankpe Oklanyi Primary School in Benue State. Before now, the school was in poor condition, cracked walls, leaking roofs, broken decks, and dim classrooms, with some lessons held under trees and years of neglect hindered effective learning. The Special Intervention Quick Impact Project, undertaken by an illustrious son of the community, Rear Admiral Robert Obeya, marks yet another significant milestone the Nigerian Naval Civil Corporation efforts.
And I'm always concerned about education. And education starts from the primary level. And that is one of the most important levels, education, before you get to the secondary level. That's why I looked at this primary school. I said, if we want to improve education within our communities, the best place to start is with the primary schools, so that the students here will start striving higher.
Representing the Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Idi Abbas, Commander Muhammad says the project provides a way for the Navy to honor its accomplished senior officers, showing that its commitment goes beyond safeguarding lives and property and also contributing meaningfully to national development.
I wish to enjoin the beneficiaries of this project, whom are the pupils that gave us some nice presentation a few moments ago, that you should please take care of these facilities and let it endure. Treat it as your own, so that it will be available for your continuous use and for those that will come after you.
Speaking on behalf of the Deputy Governor Sam Udi, Chairman of Otokpo Local Government Area Maxwell Ogiri commended the Nigerian Navy for going beyond security operations to make meaningful investment in education.
The state government resolved to commend the effort of Rear Admiral Roberts Obeya, and we must encourage this one so that others will be challenged to do their quotas for the growth and development of the community.
The commissioning marks a significant step in the Navy's community development efforts, highlighted by the handover of renovated classrooms, a headmaster's office, latrine facilities, and school furnitures at Otankwe Oklanyi Primary School. From Okpoko Local Government Area of Benue State, Felicity Ndere, reporting for Global Television News.
Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, has reaffirmed the federal government's resolve to elevate Nigeria-Thailand ties to a strategic partnership comprising of political, economic, and cultural collaboration. Tuga disclosed this in a statement issued through Ali Qasim Abdul Qadir, the Special Assistant on Media and Communication Strategy and Sustainable Events. Our correspondent, Zara Unasir, completes the report.
It was a gathering of medical professionals, academicians, representatives from the NCDC, NAFDAC, with non-governmental organizations and other related fields who gathered to discuss progress, challenges, with future initiatives concerning antimicrobial resistance. Professor Onyebutsi Chukwu added that West African Sub-Sahara have the highest mortality rates related to antimicrobial resistance. For Nigeria, he says, the issue needs to be enlightened to the public, more especially how to avoid it.
Globally, like you pointed out, this antimicrobial resistance is a silent pandemic, silent in the fact that people don't see the mortality as it were. It showed that West Africa, the West African Sub-Saharan region, had the highest mortality related to antimicrobial resistance. That mortality is like for every 100,000 people, 227 actually die as a result of antimicrobial resistance.
In her remark, the organizer of the event, Mrs. Estelle Baduwe, a pharmacist, said the program is an opportunity to bring different systems and strategies to see how to combat antimicrobial resistance in Nigeria.
So the antimicrobial stewardship is a mechanism how we look at this. Resistant antimicrobials is basically the fact that the drugs are no longer working. The drugs that normally work to treat infections like bacteria, fungi is no longer working. So we're trying to see how we can combat this issue and really help to deliver quality healthcare in Nigeria and beyond.
During the event, papers were presented by different resource persons on the importance of avoiding abuse of drugs and improper prescription and incomplete dosages, with poor infection control, with poor hygiene as part of things that causes antimicrobial resistance. Zahra Unazir, reporting for Global Television News.
Now, in a renewed effort to tackle rising security threats across Nigeria's campuses, The Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TETFund, in partnership with Bacchus Guard, has convened a two-day national workshop which is aimed at developing a comprehensive security master plan for tertiary institutions. The initiative brings together key stakeholders to chart sustainable measures for safeguarding students and staff. Ramsey Enoch Agbo was at the National University Commission's headquarters in Abuja, venue of the workshop, and now reports.
The two-day workshop brought together security experts, university administrators, government representatives, and technology providers to address what organizers describe as an urgent national priority. Chairman, Board of Trustee, TETFund, Bello Masari, while declaring the workshop open, says campus security is a shared responsibility.
This banditry will not flourish. Okay, police are not doing their job. Are you doing that? Military are not doing. Are you doing that? The people living in those isolated places in forests and things, they feed, they clothe. How do they do it? Without the active connivance of the localities surrounding them?
Executive Secretary of TETFund, Sonny Echono, says the proposed security master plan will provide a unified framework for surveillance, intelligence sharing, emergency response, and staff training across all tertiary institutions.
If they go to the marketplace and pick 30 people, it will not make enough impact as going to a school to go and pick 5 or 10 students. Because people know that students are usually helpless, they are vulnerable, they represent the hope and aspirations of all of us as a people.
The director of Bacchus Guard in his speech says tertiary institutions are citadels of learning. Therefore, students and instructors need a rest of mind.
It's only in the campus you will find everybody. You have even some security personnel living on campus. Police, soldiers, SSS and all this.
Participants at the workshop expressed optimism that once adopted, the master plan will help strengthen campus safety.
Well, at the end of this workshop, we expect to have a strategic plans that will make our institution have a better improved security arrangement.
This is a wake-up call for us to do better than before. In fact, personally, I've taken note of certain reforms.
Taking it down and implementing it in our various institutions, it will help to bring down the security challenges and insecurity in most tertiary institutions.
Due to the high rate of security situation in the country, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, in collaboration with Bacchus Guard, have put together a workshop to train and intimate stakeholders on how they can put up surveillance as it has to do with security situations in various tertiary institutions around the country. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, FIRS, France, partner on digital tax reform. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break, and now to business news, where the Federal Inland Revenue Service has signed a landmark cooperation pact with France aimed at modernizing Nigeria's tax administration through digital transformation, capacity development, and improved cross-border enforcement. The agreement comes barely weeks before the formal transition into the Nigeria Revenue Service by 2026 January. The Revenue Agency's chairman, Zach Adedeji, and the France ambassador to Nigeria, Marc Fombesta, signed a memorandum of understanding on behalf of both countries. The disclosure was contained in a statement issued by his special advisor on media, Dare Adekombi. Still talking business, the Senate has taken a firm stance on soaring domestic airfares, summoning the Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, alongside airline operators and aviation regulators. This move follows growing concerns over sharp price increases that threaten national mobility, especially ahead of the festive season. National Assembly correspondent Topsy Gimba has the details.
The Senate's call to action emerged on a motion sponsored by Senator Buhari Abdul Fattah, who warned that skyrocketing airfares on key south-south and southeast routes could disrupt travel plans this Yuletide season. Data presented in plenary revealed that one-way ticket prices have climbed by as much as 150%, with fares now exceeding 300,000 naira, compared to the pre-festive average of about 120,000 naira. Further analysis shows some ticket prices reaching a staggering of 400,000 to 600,000 naira on major routes like Abuja to Lagos. Lawmakers linked this surge in airfares to worsening highway insecurity and poor road network, which driven more Nigerians to choose air travel, intensifying demands and fare volatility.
Nigerians have been complaining seriously about the price hike of airline and finding it very difficult to travel from one destination to the other.
Take your seat. Other senators echo these worries.
Just one way, not even round trip. It's too exorbitant. As you rightly said, when the synopsis of the motion was given, that the minimum wage for Nigerians is 70,000 naira. It means a civil servant will have to save 5 months' salary or even 6 months' salary before he could afford one-way ticket to Lagos. Fine. Thirdly, sir, there will thirdly issue related to foreign exchange. I'm of the opinion that in the past, there is this intervention by the Central Bank of Nigeria, while so many airline operators were given some consideration, in some exemption, concessional rates, and up to now, and I know it's still on.
However, the Senate has tasked its committees to meet with Minister Keyamo, airline representatives, and regulatory authorities this week. They are expected to explain the causes behind the fare hikes and propose strategies to stabilize air travel costs, ensuring affordable flights for Nigerians during the holidays.
That we should, as a matter of urgency, invite the relevant stakeholders in the aviation industry, including the Minister of Aviation, NCA, and FAN and others, to a closed meeting with the Senate to discuss the abysmal rise in airfares, to avoid exploitation of Nigerians, and also to alleviate the suffering of people and avoid disruption.
The Aviation Ministry and airline operators are now under pressure to provide clear answers and workable solutions as the festive season approaches. Topsy Gimba, reporting for Global Television News.
On the foreign scene, Australia have become the first country to ban social media for children under 16, blocking access in a move welcomed by many parents and child advocates, a move that also has been criticized by major technology companies and free speech advocates. Our correspondent, Oyi Agbomofoegbe, has the rest of the story.
The new regulation requires giant tech companies, including TikTok, Alphabet, and Meta, to block children or face fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars, which is being closely watched by regulators worldwide. In a video message, Albanese urged children to
can do it, why can't we?
He also sent a vital message to big tech, highlighting their role in driving the new measure across the world.
So it is about, as well, importantly, pushing back against big tech, saying that social media companies have a social responsibility.
Many of the estimated 1 million children affected by the legislation have also posted goodbye messages on social media. Uyi Agbomofoegbe, reporting for Global TV News.
And now to sport, where Arsenal have suffered another major injury blow ahead of the Champions League clash against Club Brugge tonight. Max Doman has picked up an ankle problem and is expected to miss the next 2 months. This was confirmed by David Austin of The Athletic today. According to David, Doman injured himself during a friendly against Manchester United and is not expected to undergo surgery. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. Earlier, we brought to you that President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his order to pull police officers off VIPs and return them to core policing duties. In business, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has signed a landmark cooperation pact with France aimed at modernizing Nigeria's tax system through digital transformation, capacity development, and improved border enforcement. On the foreign scene, we brought to you that Australia has become the first country to ban social media for children under 16, blocking access in a move welcomed by many parents and child advocates. And in sports, we brought to you that Arsenal have suffered another injury blow ahead of their Champions League clash against Club Brugge tonight. Now that's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using our Global TV NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.